Well, this one is pretty interesting. This is a 1990 Yamaha Blaster 200. Supposedly, it's big bored to a 240. The seller said it was the fastest Blaster he's ever ridden. Does wheelies every gear. Said there's tons of aftermarket parts on it, and that it's a $2,500 machine all day. So the seller gave me a huge story on it, telling me how valuable this thing is and how much money he spent on it. And he said he was riding it one day and it locked up and it wouldn't start back up. He said the kickstart was frozen, wouldn't kick over, and he decided to sell it to me for $500 because of that problem. He told me the pipe was $900 on this thing, which I know right away that's a lie. It is a nice pipe, but they're probably like 200 bucks off of eBay, not 900. But the plastics are all spray bombed with black spray paint. You can see the red coming through. You've got newer grips. That's basically it. I don't really see any aftermarket parts besides the lights. So I don't know where he got the $2,500 from. But tires are pretty decent. Maybe he put new tires on at one point, but I mean the front ones are pretty dry rotted, so I don't think that's the case. The wheels are all stock. There's no Nerf bars on here. The brake doesn't work, the rear brake is disconnected. It does not kick over. It is tight. The seat's pretty nice. Maybe there's a new seat cover on there. And a grab bar possibly. I like the rear lights. That's interesting, isn't it? Just zip tied on. Just dangling there. Chain and sprockets don't look horrible. But yeah, the best thing about it is probably the pipe. It looks brand new. But yeah, we got it for 500 bucks, so I really can't complain too much. So today's goal is going to be to get this thing to start up. Looks like it was last registered in 2024. So I'm guessing it was running and driving recently. So I'm hoping it's a simple issue that we can just quick fix and hopefully take this thing for the first ride today. I'm thinking it's the kickstart mechanism that's locked up because it's really tight. It's not budging at all. But who knows, the whole engine could be junk. So let's get this thing off the trailer, start digging into it, and we'll see what we find. Alright, little walk around here. From far away it doesn't look bad. Once you get up close, you start seeing all the imperfections. You can see the frame was spray painted as well. Looks like metallic silver on there. Bolts are loose on everything. You can see the VIN, the 10th digit is an L. So it is in fact in 1990, which is good. Yeah, I don't think that's a different cylinder, so I don't think it is bored over to a 240. Maybe the seller was mistaken. I like the spray paint on the boot, that looks nice. Don't tape anything off. The wiring looks interesting as well. I'm guessing that's for these fancy lights in the front. Obviously the park and brake doesn't work. And it does not kick over. See, it's just stuck. Not moving at all, so something's jammed up in there. It kind of feels to me like the kickstart. We'll have to take the flywheel cover off and see if that engine spins. But let's get it in the garage, start working on it. Alright, got this quad in the garage. Let's start going over it. So right off the bat, obviously it does not kick over. Let's check the oil. See what's in there for oil. Oh man, that hasn't been off in a while. Alright. Oh. Let's see what this oil looks like. I'm interested. I'm guessing there's a bunch of metal flakes in there. Not a whole lot of oil coming up on the dipstick here. It's pretty clear. Looks like newer oil. Not much showing up on the window though, down here. Looks pretty dry. That definitely needs to be drained. The seat cover is not too bad. A couple little rips here. It doesn't look horrible. Wow, air filter looks pretty good. Look at that. All oiled up and everything. And here's the battery for the lights. So you just have, oh, here's the on off switch. I'm guessing the battery is just dead. But that goes to the lights in the front here, so I'm sure if we had a new battery those would work. Maybe. It's 12 volt. So I was just more worried about the air filter, but that looks really good. So I'm guessing this thing didn't lock up from sucking in dirt unless the seller installed the air filter after the fact. But yeah, we don't know. Let's see what this fuel flow looks like here. Looks pretty clear in the filter. Let's see what we're getting for gas. Oop, that broke right off. That was pretty fragile on there. The line's so brittle. Nope, it's mixed. Wow. Looks like it's mixed pretty heavy, actually. So that's definitely not the problem. That looks pretty good. Not bad. So, seller was running mixed gas. We are going to take off the cover here and see if this flywheel spins over. Because either the engine's locked up or the kickstart is, or the clutch is, or whatever. So we'll get the side cover off here right now. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, it turns over. No problem. It turns over pretty easy. Feels like there's compression too. So the engine is definitely not locked up. Alright, well that's good. Alright, let's try to go through all the gears. See if the transmission feels smooth. There's first. Neutral. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. Last gear. Yep. Cool. Well, it goes through all the gears pretty smoothly. All right, drain bolt for the oil is right there. Let's get that out and see if there's any chunks in the oil. I'm guessing either a couple teeth came off of the starter or the starter gear in here, because it's just locked up so tight. I don't know what's going on. Or something broke apart. Alright, it's pretty clear coming out. Not a whole lot of oil in there. Yeah. Well, we'll let that drain for a bit and we'll see if there's any chunks floating around. Well, it looks like there's a bunch of flakes in here. No big chunks, but just a lot of metallic flakes. They're all floating around. Actually, get those out. There's the other one. I'm gonna first. Alright. Just drop that like that. Get that out of the way. That was a 20 millimeter. Alright. Just these screws I like to strip out. Oh, I think they're pretty loose on here. Looks like these are Allen's. Let's see what's going on here. I think there's a pump underneath here. That I don't think is hooked up. But we'll see if that's bypassed correctly. Yeah, got the bypass right there. Perfect. So that looks good. That's originally where the pump went. Oh, there's no bolt there. He's zipped off. Good. Looks like there's a new gasket on there. Oops, something fell out. Oh, bolt. Alright, get the gasket off before we rip that. Gasket looks nice. Alright, what's going on in here? Oh, clutch basket looks nice. What is going on? Wonder if right here it's spun. No teeth are broken off that I can see. Huh. Interesting. Well, we may as well take off the clutch and check that out. Make sure everything's bolted down properly. See if anything's broken. Yeah, there's metal chunks in there, so something was rubbing. I don't see any broken off pieces in the cover. There's gotta be something that was broken in there. Ooh, right here. Look at this. A big gouge right here. So let's see where that would be rubbing. That would be all the way over here. That is really odd. What could possibly be rubbing over there? You can see the plate a little stuck on there. The clutch push rod is on there pretty good. Why is that so hard to take out? What the heck? Huh. Is that bent or something? It's really hard to take out. Let's just take the clutch plates out too. All the tabs are folded over to keep the clutch on, that's good. I'm not seeing any broken pieces on the clutch. Inner basket looks good as well. Huh. Up here. That sucker's on there. Actually just came off, so that's good. Didn't need the air impact after all. Oh, should at least. There we go. Got your washer behind here. Clutch basket. You've got your washer on the other side of the basket. No grooves really in the clutch basket at all. Looks really good. Backside, we're checking out all these teeth here. No teeth are broken. These are a little worn down here, you can see. So maybe that was the cause. You can see those teeth are pretty worn. Shifting mechanism looks good. No teeth on the starter gear missing. Not seeing any missing teeth at all. Let's see if these line up. So there's a dot here and a dot there that need to line up here. Yep, those line up perfectly. You can see the crank gear, some of these teeth on here are a little bit warped. Look at that. It gets skinnier than thicker as it goes on. I don't really like that either. Looks like it was grinding at one point. But I'm not seeing where most of the grinding took place except for that cover piece. So I'm thinking maybe that was from before. Like the damage happened before and they never changed out the oil. I don't know, because I don't see any major damage that would have led to that grinding. But I believe I have some parts for this. We might replace that gear here and the clutch possibly. We'll see if the one I have is better. So I found another starter mechanism here, and so this one, the original one that was on there, was missing this little spring here. I don't know if that would make that big of a difference, but that's really the only difference I see. Missing the spring on the backside. I'm trying to see if this was moved at all. And this one looks like it was stripped out a little bit more than this one. But the spring is still in the same location, so I don't think it did strip out. But we'll use this one, the new one that we found in the parts bin. At least it has a spring on it. See if that makes a difference. Throw that one off to the side. We'll use that one. And then the clutch basket I found for it didn't quite match up. So here is the old one that was on it. And you can see that the gear on here is completely different. See that? This one is flat, this one's tapered. And it's thicker, and it comes out further on this one, which is interesting. And then these rivets right here are ground down on the original, and they're not on the parts one. So a couple differences there, so we probably can't use this one. Also, this one has some pretty bad lines in it from the clutch plates. So I don't really want to use that one anyway. But that's really it. I mean, this clutch basket doesn't look that bad. That shouldn't cause it to lock up. The teeth aren't like terrible. So I think what we're going to do is throw everything back together with the new starter mechanism, and I guess we'll hope for the best. Alright, clutch is reinstalled. Let's get the kick start mechanism back on. So this little piece right here that was missing goes right into here. This piece goes over this piece on the case. It goes just like this. Get a couple bolts in here. Alright, let's see if she kicks over here. Kickstart going on. Seems like it's working. So far it's working. Alright, well I think we fixed that. Well, our kickstart is now fixed. Now it turns over at least. So now we can check spark and compression and confirm we have those. Alright, that looks a little iffy there. Looks like that wire is actually like hitting the frame. So that's not good. That's a positive wire going into the frame, to the coil. So that definitely needs to be fixed. Wow, it's just grounding out to the frame. So we will solder that and get some heat shrink on there, because that is not good. Get this plug out of here. That doesn't look horrible. A little blacker than I'd like, but overall not horrible. Plug is pretty dry. Alright, do we have spark here? This should be interesting. Alright, hopefully we can just get kickstart. Pretty weak spark here, not gonna lie. Is it off? It's on run. Is there a key? Key's on. That's pretty decent spark now. It's probably hard for you guys to see it, but let's turn the lights off. Definitely hard to see it. There we go. Now you guys can see it. It's there, it's just really hard to see. We gotta fix up that wire. We're gonna solder that up, and we want the heat shrink to fit over it, so we're gonna try and make it pretty thin. I'd say that's pretty good. Right now the heat shrink will probably not fit over that. Shoot. We might just have to tape that. Tape we'll use. Get this covered up. Alright, so we've got spark, we confirmed that. Let's see what we get for compression. So we're hoping for right around 120 psi. Anything over 120 is great. Anything under, it probably needs a rebuild. So we'll see, we'll do throttle open. Alright, so we're looking for right in that range in there. Now we'll test out the kickstart too. Kickstart's working good. Feels like it has really good compression with that kickstart. Oh, we're at like 130. That's great. Alright, so compression checks out. We are getting pretty lucky here. And that's with no oil down the cylinder. So, I think what we're going to do is check the carb next. We have compression, we have spark. All we need is fuel. Couple clamps. Surprised it still has the air box on it. Alright, let's see if she'll come out of here. pretty stiff. There we go. Alright, carb is out. Let's see what the slide looks like here. Pretty good. Alright, let's see if there's any gas in the carb. See if it was getting any. Oh yeah. The carb was getting plenty of gas to it. That's good. This is the original Makuni carb, you can see. A lot of these blasters have the cheap aftermarket carbs. So it's nice this one has the original. Carb looks really clean. Look at that. Let's see if this passageway is open. Doesn't look like it. Oh yeah, there we go. That's open. Little piece of what looks like hose in there. I'll get that out. Alright. Piece can come out. Looks like our main jet is a 270. That is missing the washer for the top of that. I wonder if I have one of those. But it's supposed to have a washer and then the main jet. So that's missing. That's why we go through the carb. Alright, so that's stuck in there. Float pin. Got our little punch here. Oh, that shot across the room. Where did that go? Holy cow. Like a bullet. Alright, the needle looks good. I have an O-ring gasket on them. They usually get really brittle and then just kind of allow gas through. The carb leaks. That one's pretty brittle. Take a look. Just break that. Yeah, look how brittle that is. That's why I changed this out. Look at that. It's breaking. No elasticity left in that. Basically crumpled apart in my hands. So that needs to be changed out. Let's take a look at the pilot. Oh, tiny pilot. Look at that. 35. It's not that tiny. And that was clogged. So probably wouldn't have started. Alright, and then the air screw. Where's that guy? Here it is. Let's see what setting that was at. So we're at about 1.5 turns out on the air screw. It's pretty normal. And that one was missing the spring. No spring on the air screw. hope to try to find a spring for it as well. So carb was missing quite a few things. We're going to punch out the emulsion tube. These are clogged up too. Yeah, look at all the gunk in there. And all these little holes get clogged up, so we'll clean that out really nice as well. But that's basically it for the carb. We're going to let this thing soak for a little bit and blow it out with compressed air and find all the pieces to put this thing back together. I'm missing a couple different things like the washer, the spring, and then we'll get that new O-ring on there as well for the seat. Alright, so we found the washer we needed for the main jet. We found the spring for the air screw. Then we got the O-ring on the seat here, brand new O-ring. Alright, carb is all put back together. We can get that reinstalled. Before we get the carb back on, let's see what the reeds look like. Let's check out the manifold too, make sure there's no cracks in the manifold. These are like the most common areas for air leaks on a blaster. Alright, the boot looks good. I don't see any cracks going all the way through. Let's see what the reeds look like here. Those are on there pretty good. We'll have to palm those off. Reeds look pretty good, don't they? Alright, so that all checks out. Alright, carb's all installed, reeds are back on. Let's get some fresh oil in here. Let's get that going in there. We're using 10W40 wet clutch oil. Dump that in. We measured out exactly 650. This thing was extremely low in oil before. Alright, we got a new filter and gas line on here. Let's see if that's working. Oh yeah. Gas is flowing. Let's see if it leaks out of the carb here. We've got that new O-ring on the seat, so it shouldn't leak. I think we're good. Alright, we've got fresh fuel in it. Fresh oil. We'll choke it. Guess we'll see if this thing fires up here. So let's see how many kicks this thing takes. Yeah, carb is looking good, no leaking yet. Here we go. See what happens. Not oiling. Well, it runs. Having a hard time idling. I think it's running out of fuel. So let's check the petcock again, make sure that's working. We adjusted the air screw, it's idling pretty good now. But when you rev it up, it kind of hangs high. Takes a while to come back down to idle. Smoking good. Almost sounds like an air leak. I wonder if the left crank seal is bad. It's sucking in air from somewhere. It's gotta be. See how that idle takes a long time to come back down? We can actually run this and spray behind there and just see what's going on. See if it changes in idle. Doesn't appear to be sucking in air through there. And it's not sucking air in through the manifold area. We sprayed around there. The head gasket looks good. It's not sucking air from there. So I'm not sure where the heck it'd be sucking in air from. Maybe the pilot's just too small. Alright, air screws all the way in. Sounds a little better. Alright, let's give it a test drive, see what happens. So this brake cable needs to be replaced. The end of it broke off. The seller did include one with the purchase of the quad. All right, zip these off quick. All right, so this comes off here. Little spring down in there. This thing's complicated. Alright, that's what we're dealing with here. Very interesting setup. Just a little plastic piece like that fits into a groove. And that guy somehow has to come out. So that must push on the brake pad here and squish that in. Very interesting. You can see there's some ball bearings in here as well. So a little rod lines up with that hole in the brake. This whole thing can twist right out. We'll see if the cable he sent is the right size here. Even comes with the gasket for it. Cool. Alright, this end goes into here. There we go. There. Get our brake back in. So this little push rod twists in and out with this little plastic piece in the end. So we want to push that further in so that when you push the brake, it actually pushes up against the brake pad. So that was all the way out. So we want that all the way in, basically. So you can see that fits right in there. So we probably want it like right there, so that when you hit the brake, it actually compresses that pad. Now this can go on to here and here. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. See, we're spinning, hit the brake, locks that brake up nice and tight. Cool. Well, brake is fixed. Alright, we made it out to the land. Let's see how this thing runs today. We brought the jet kit along just in case. Alright, this thing is running great. It's got a ton of power. As you can see, we're doing donuts, no problem with it. Goes through every gear, shifts smoothly, and doesn't bog at all. So I think we're pretty good for jetting. We probably could go up in the main just a hair, but I mean, it's pretty darn close. Not a single bog or pop at top end. So I think we're gonna leave it. We'll check the plug, see what the color is, but so far it's not bad. Well, first ride on the $500 Yamaha Blaster went way better than expected. I think it's jetted pretty good. We might have to go up in the main just a little bit, but let's see what that plug looks like. Actually looks pretty decent. Doesn't look too bad. It's turning brown. Look at that. So I think we're pretty good. I think we're just gonna leave it. so as long as it's not running lean and it doesn't have a bog, I think we're good. It was revving out completely, hitting high RPMs, so I don't know, it had plenty of power in every gear. Well, looks like jetting's pretty spot on, so we're just gonna leave it like that. So this one turned out pretty good. We probably have maybe 6 hours into this thing, fixing it, but it was definitely worth it. These things go for $1,500 to $2,000 in my area. We picked it up for 500 bucks, so we upped the value by fixing this thing big time. I fully expected this thing to need a full engine rebuild, bottom and top end, because this thing was locked up when I first bought it. We got really, really lucky that it was just the kickstart mechanism locking up, and that was all it was. And then somehow we had compression and spark as well, and all it really needed was a carb clean. This thing fired right up. We got a really good deal on this thing. But yeah, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't, and on this one we definitely did. So hopefully you guys enjoyed picking this thing up for 500 bucks, diagnosing it, going through it, starting it up for the first time, and then taking it for the first ride. Definitely fun getting these old machines back up and running. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.